What is your least favorite sport to watch? And what is your least favorite sport to play?
Peter, I already know your answer for one of them.
My least favorite sport to watch is NBA basketball.
Oh God.
It's my least favorite sport to watch.
That's a really good answer. That was I was afraid if I said it, I would be like,
oh no, I hate
maligned.
NBA basketball is the most boring thing to ever come across my television screen. My least favorite sport to play is golf because golf infuriates me because it feels pretty straightforward. Club meet ball in varying degrees of velocity, and I somehow can't do it.
It's a hard
Like
sport.
I'm the worst person to go to Topgolf with. Because I just get mad,
Why?
and then I order a ton of mozzarella
Topgolf.
sticks.
Topgolf would be a fun place to go with. We're going there. We're going to have a Topgolf.
Topgolf? But then I get mad, and I order a bunch
That's what
of...
I want to see, and I want to see you just mowing down some matzahs.
I order a bunch of mozzarella sticks, and then I get all gassy, and then it's no fun for anybody.
All right. So which
That's how I
one
feel
is
about
it?
golf.
NBA and then golf. Gosh,
Yeah.
Ryan, are you ready?
No,
I'm
I'm not.
I'm not really
I'm
ready.
not ready.
Watching the
Now
NBA
you stole
sucks.
my answer. Wow. I mean, that's kind of my answer too.
Girls high school lacrosse would be a close
Oh
second.
gosh,
That one's
that was a really good one.
That's purely just based off of the rules.
The rules.
Yeah, it's not the players, it's the
sport
rules.
of lacrosse is fantastic.
Every
The
25
rules of
seconds,
girls-
there's a whistle. And
That
you
is
just-
that's being generous.
I remember in high school, some of the high school
Whistle,
girl hockey
whistle.
players also play lacrosse, and they like convinced us to come watch a game. They're like, no, you can't slash once they shoot. And I was like, oh,
You can't get
what?
near
You
them.
can't
with
do anything.
Nothing. It's terrible. Just put the equipment on them and let them play. That's always been my take on that sport. My daughters played, and it was like, this is painful.
100%.
Let's see. So I would agree with that one. Least favorite sport to watch would be girls lacrosse. That's a great answer. That is such a good answer. Favorite sport to least favorite sport to play. Wow. Can I say pickleball? Would that be a good answer? I mean,
I would think
like
that's a hot
it.
take for your age.
You can roast pickleball people.
That's a hot take for your age, for
I
sure.
will play it. It's social, but it's not exercise, and I'm always afraid I'm going to blow a knee or blow an Achilles. It's like, why am I playing
A lot
a
of back and
sport
forth, yeah.
that I can injure myself and hurt my future? So I'm not interested in that. So that would be the ones.
So
or
girls lacrosse
mountain biking. One of those two.
That's an activity, not a sport.
Okay, but like I wouldn't consider doing that. People go, oh, you want to go mountain biking? I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I would go down a mountain biking.
Yeah, it'd be okay.
I'd
That'd
go
be
like
fun.
kind of like skiing.
See,
I'll go downhill skiing.
I never did a ton
Cross-country
of
skiing.
mountain biking as a child, but there were big hills that we would ride down on our bikes. That was fun.
Yeah,
Except when you
cool.
like run into a tree. That was not.
I think this
like you
is
must have.
closely correlated with like what you're not good at. So my answer is to play is soccer.
Yep.
I've never really understood. Like I understand where you're supposed to hit the ball with your foot, on the inside laces.
Do you mean
Yeah.
kick?
Yeah.
Hit the ball with your foot.
Well, same thing.
That's the same thing.
I'm talking about where exactly you hit with your foot.
All right.
So I've never really understood that. I always just kind of toe ball kick it. And then I guess watching soccer is not exactly
Really?
my favorite either.
I like
Certain
it.
games,
I like
was
it.
also going to say baseball on TV, baseball
Brutal.
in person.
Brutal.
Very fun. I think the
God,
rule,
now I got softball. That's another
baseball,
side.
I will say the rule changes last year definitely helped with
Yeah.
enjoying baseball.
Kinda.
But it's also situational. Like if it's like World Cup 91st minute tied, of course I'm going to enjoy it. But like I just can't really sit down for a 90-minute soccer match and it's 1-0.
A Premier League match is on my bucket list of in-person stuff.
Yep.
Right, in
Like to
person
watch
changes
Man City,
things.
Man United,
Yeah, that'd
and
be
do
fun.
all the chanting.
I should
That'd be fun.
mention. I mentioned on the boys pod. I've went to U.S. versus Honduras in one of the exhibition games prior to the World Cup, and it was like scheduled for January 16th at Allianz. And it was like as cold out as it was today.
Nice.
And I had a blast. So that was very fun.
That'd be cool.
I keep
cool-
hearing that Allianz is one of the best in-game atmospheres in the
is
state.
It's not even close.
I live 8 minutes from Allianz.
It's so good.
I have very little desire to go.
It's
to a
so
soccer game.
good.
I
highly recommend
I love
it.
how like close you are to the action, because it's obviously a smaller stadium,
Yeah.
so
It's
it's
great.
not as gradual.
It's fantastic.
It's almost you're very
There's not a
like,
bad
on
seat
top.
in the place.
Yeah.
Not a bad seating. I went to, when I was in Barcelona 2 years ago, I went to FC Barcelona versus
Very cool.
Real Madrid. That was a cool bucket list. I'm going to AC Milan in 6 weeks. But I agree with you, Peter. I've done these, more passionate countries like Spain and Italy, but not hooliganism like it would be in England. I would definitely.
Right.
I think Jake and I will eventually.
He's a big soccer fan. Right?
We will definitely do a game in England. The problem is they don't play. Premier League doesn't play in June when I would really want to go and do Wimbledon and a game, but you can't do both because they aren't playing.
So I
in
feel
June.
like sometimes TV benefits the viewer, and then sometimes it kind of.
I mean, their stadiums look amazing. Those double-decker stadiums with the overhang.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole
just
thing,
the chance.
The chance,
the
the whole deal.
passion.
I definitely want to do that.
It's like
They also have cheap concessions.
Really?
Like there's a Twitter handle called Footy Scran, and I guess that's a European way of saying, concession food. But they have interesting stuff. It almost always includes a protein, and it seems like it's really inexpensive.
Okay.
Sometimes, I was going to mention golf. Like golf in person, not fun to watch. Like a lot of people don't really.
Unless you're at a legendary course, like I would totally go to the Masters.
Yeah, I've been there.
Well, of course, it's like, when I was at the Ryder Cup in 2016, I'm there to watch frickin' Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth and be at the cool course. But once you hit the ball, you really can't see it.
Am I crazy for saying I would never want to go to the Waste Management Open? And
not at all.
That would be fun.
That turns off a lot of people.
I would put that as fun.
Even if I were still
for an hour or
in
two.
my partying phase, even if I were still there, I don't think I would enjoy that. There's just so many people with Apple Watches and Allbirds drinking Mick Ultras. I just don't want to do this.
A lot of fun. A lot of vests down there. A lot of vests down there.
I think it'd be kind of fun for a couple hours and then get the heck out.
I mean, if I had to pick like top 3 people that I think would hate the Waste Management, I think I would probably say Peter Odney is one of them.
I'm not a big fan of golf or crowds or Allbirds, so no, I probably wouldn't want to.
Or drunk.
Yeah, I am not.
No,
me either.
I'm not a partier anymore.
Me either.
It's hot.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Need to stay up out the streets.
Welcome to 10 Minutes. I'm Tony Scott, joined here today with Peter Odney. How you doing today, Peter?
I'm great. I'm looking at a tournament that was held in Canada.
The Thunder Bay North-South Border Battle Challenge.
Yeah, I'm trying to justify in my own mind driving to another country to play in an 8-team tournament.
Yeah, well, they played a lot of games.
I can't do it.
We also have Ryan Maney here on his first ever 10 Minutes. Thanks for joining in today.
I believe so. Yeah, very first one.
You're stepping in for Kayla, who's too busy churning out
the amount of video that she's probably run through Premiere.
It's
over the last couple of weeks.
Staggering at this point. And she's also getting her driver's license. She's an illegal driver right now.
I think the term is undocumented driver.
I thought you were just going to stop there.
Illegal. She's an illegal right now. She's 2 days past her 30-day grace period.
They're looking for her.
People are looking for her
right now.
She does not strike me as the type of a felon like she will be.
She is now.
She's a wanted person. I mean, I'm surprised I'm not at the post office. Her picture isn't at the post office for an expired driver's license. So she'll be there today, and apparently you're going to bring her the chips, and we'll get this thing produced.
Yeah,
so,
we've already decided on that.
Fantastic. So today's show is presented by Breakaway Academy. Next week, we will have Andy Brink in the office to do the region picks, and I think he did a pretty nice job. He got heckled. He told me he got heckled quite a bit for his missed picks. He'd walk around the rinks of Minnesota and like, oh, you picked against us, or hey, thanks for picking us. I'm like, now you know what it's like to be Peter and Tony to walk around the rink and just
Poor
get heckled.
Andy. Why would we do that to Andy?
He liked it. I thought he did a nice job. I thought he did a really good job.
Andy always does a nice job.
He's great.
One of those people you just feel smarter after talking to.
And I'm excited to work with these guys. It's fun to have some stuff. I got a couple of things up my sleeve right now to produce for the people at Breakaway to help promote their brand, and they should have a full school. I got a good story. This doesn't have anything. Well, I guess it has to do with the school, but not really. The academic side of it. But I thought it was kind of a neat anecdote. I was doing a PWB game, not one of the fancy PWAs or Bantam AAs. Doing a PWB game over in Edina a few weeks ago. And he doesn't even know this, but I was about to drop the puck. I look over my shoulder, and there's Dave Snuggerud at the game, 8 o'clock game on a Tuesday night, and there's Dave presumably watching one of his or a bunch of his students playing in that game, which I thought that was kind of neat.
What else would Dave do?
I don't know, but I like.
He doesn't strike me as a guy who has a lot of hobbies.
But I like the fact that he's out there watching his students play a hockey game, and it wasn't the 15A. Chaska Chan team, I'm sure has got a bunch of kids at their school, but it's just one of the kids from school or a couple of the kids from school were on the same team. I thought it was cool that he was there.
That's very cool. I used to love watching Dave coach at Chaska High School.
Oh, wow.
Because at the high school level, there are some coaching staffs that are, they coordinate their outfits before the game, which is, it's fine.
Yep.
They're all wearing the same jacket. Depending on how old the coaching staff is, they all have the same haircut. It looks nice. It's swooped over to the side. Everybody's got on their Lulus and their Nikes.
Are you talking about Crookston girls right now?
And everything is perfect.
That's what you're
and everything is perfectly proportioned. Like they got the pants are rolled just a little bit. And then you see Dave Snuggerud on the bench wearing his Sorel Caribous and a knit hat he got for free at some event. Just kind of watching the game and being smarter than everybody else in their room.
But if it gets hot in the hot tub, Dave will let you know it. So I have seen him get fired up in my day.
I'm just saying
several times.
But the difference.
There's this like chasm between laid back Birkenstocks Dave or Sorrell's Dave and when things get hot in the hot tub Dave, and that's a fun Dave to see. It's a great Dave. I love that Dave. I actually like that Dave better than the one you're describing right now.
My only point is that looks can be deceiving, and I always liked watching Dave, who looked like he had just rolled in off a snowblower, and then designing a power play that chemists at does MIT do chemistry? No, they probably don't. I don't know. That smart people couldn't decipher if they tried.
Correct. All right. Well, thank you, Breakaway, for bringing us to today's show. Since we talked about the Thunder Bay Border Battle Challenge, I know this. I know who won. And I know which teams from Minnesota went. Grand Rapids, Duluth East, Hermantown, and Edina went to Thunder Bay last weekend. And I know who won, but I won't steal your thunder, no pun intended, with any other details you have about the events.
All the Minnesota teams, they were slotted in the same division, in the American division. So
and they didn't play each other. They played the other 4 Canadian teams, right?
It's loading right now.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
And I do know this.
This
I
isn't
can tell
even
you there's 2 teams from Winnipeg, and there were, 2 teams from Manitoba and 2 teams from Ontario. The Ontario team is called the Sault Greyhounds, and they're from Sault Ste. Marie, which is clear on the other side of the province. And then a new team. I'd never even heard of this academy. You have the name of the academy, not the rink academy?
Pilot Mound.
Pilot Mound.
The Pilot Mound Buffaloes.
That's just.
You don't know about the Pilot Mound Buffaloes? What the hell's wrong with you?
It's just north of Minot.
Yeah.
It's almost in Saskatchewan.
Pilot Mound peels away 1 or 2 Minot kids every year.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, there's Pilot Mound.
I was looking at where is this place, and I was like, wow, that is nowhere near Brandon. It's nowhere near Winnipeg. So I thought it was
Mound Buffaloes, baby.
Yeah.
CSSHL's finest.
Yes.
So our Rink Hockey Academy, that's a big name. Sault Greyhounds, Pilot Mound, and then the Thunder Bay Kings. Bad look for the Canadian squads.
Why? Did they get scrubbed pretty good?
Sault went 1-2, 0-2.
Okay.
And that 0-2, 0 ties and 2 overtime losses. So they technically went 1-4.
Right.
1-4. Rink Hockey Academy went 1-3. Pilot Mound went 1-3, and Thunder Bay went 4-1. And
they won it. They beat Hermantown 3-1. Who beat? So it must have been Thunder Bay must have beaten Edina in the semifinals, and Hermantown beat Pilot Knob. Or
I'm struggling a little bit to understand this.
Did they
tournament
beat,
app?
Yankee Doodle Road. I mean, what was the name of the team?
Hold on.
All right.
Friday.
I couldn't find any scores.
Why would you put the most recent game at the bottom? That doesn't make any sense to me.
While Peter finds that, MIT does have a chemistry program. It offers one of the best programs in the country.
A chemist from MIT.
In the world.
A chemist from MIT.
All right.
So on Sunday, Thunder Bay beat Sault 3-2. Sault SOO.
Yep.
Not SIOUX. And Hermantown beat Edina.
Oh my Lord.
4-1. 4-1.
Wow.
And then Thunder Bay beat Hermantown in the final 3-1.
What's a Sioux? SOO.
Sioux Sault Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie. Spelled SO.
That's where Lou Nanny's from.
That's right.
Sweet Lou from the Sioux.
That's right.
That's what my dad says every time I say something like, hey, Lou Nanny was at the state tournament. Oh, Sweet Lou from the Sioux. Calm down, Dad. Paxton Medill led the entire tournament in scoring with 3 goals and 11 points, followed by a pair of kids from Thunder Bay, Owen Trevistanudo, and Cooper Disher, who each had 10.
Well, good results, good tournament. Speaking of tournaments, Chaskatchan won the EP 10As. They beat Aussie Maple Grove 4-1 on Sunday. They're creeping up the rankings. I think they're like 3rd or 4th in the state, so congratulations to them. Now let's talk a little bit about the 3-region system. We've talked about this on Monday Morning Commute. We probably brought it up a couple times here. We did get some verified information that the northern region, which would be called the Olympic, will be a traditional 8-team region, but it'll have 4 district winners. And I think it's kind of cool. The District 11 teams play this week, both PWAA and A. So Hermantown, Duluth East, both teams, I think they're comparable at AA, Pee-wees, and whatever. They'll play a best 2 out of 3 this week in the Duluth area. The winner gets the seed to regions. The loser gets what, Peter? A consolation prize of you're done for the season. So they're going to play a win or go home best 2 out of 3.
You really set me up for success there.
I did, didn't I? Okay. So they play this week for the number 1 seeds, and you can find out who wins. We'll be tracking those games this week in our region guide. The other thing we'll be tracking in our region guide is all the different regions where people are going, what seed they are. If you want to find out what seed you're going to be, if you finish 2nd in districts or 3rd in districts, 4th district, what region you're going to, what rink you'll be playing in, all that stuff, that'll be on our regional guide. It'll be right on the homepage of YHH. You can find it every day there. But what I want to talk about is this 3-region system really quick with you. So we have 16 teams in the Metro. And then there's going to be 4 number 1 seeds in the north. So 16. This is going to be in AA. It's going to be East Grand Forks, probably for both Pee-wee AA and Bantam AA. And same with Moorhead out of 15. They've all punched it. Grand Rapids is an auto bid. They don't have another AA team in their district. So those 6 teams are already set. And we talked about the best 2 out of 3. That'll be set. So it'll be those 4 teams will be the number 1 seeds. Peter, Adney, tell us the seeds from the Metro and which teams will likely be headed up there to play regionals in a couple weeks.
So as of right now, out of District 2, the number 4 teams look like it's going to be Matamidi for Bantam AAs and Roseville for Pee-wee AAs.
Okay, now what we mean by that is that's what they finished in their regular season, and they're seeded to districts.
A lot of this still has to happen.
A lot can happen, but I'm just giving people a for instance. This is the type of team you might be seeing if you're one of those number 1 seeds in your district. I don't know who's playing where, but it's the number 4 seed from 2-5, is it?
10.
10, sorry, 2-5, and
8. And the 5th seed out of 8.
And the 5th seed out of 8. So who are those teams currently based on their district's placement right now in a district play?
In District 10 at the Bantam AA level, the number 4 seed is Elk River. And then the other 3 teams that could make some noise with an upset winner, Spring Lake Park, Blaine, and Centennial. They round out the 4 teams that are in the back half of the bracket. So everybody here is battling for that last spot.
And the championship right now in District 10 is Rogers and Andover, 2 top 10 teams.
Yeah, the number 1 and the number 2. Well, number 2 and number 1.
Yeah.
Because you said Rogers first.
Yes.
Andover's the number 1 seed.
Yep.
At the Pee-wee AA level in District 10, Centennial is the number 4 seed.
Very one of the best teams in the state that's below 500.
And then
I had them in the top 10 until last week, and they're below 500 team. But it's still a good team.
Blaine, Champlain Park, and Elk River round out the quartet that is in the back half of the bracket.
And that Blaine team is who we had in Friday Night Ice. That's a good hockey team.
It is
Lots
a good hockey
of talents.
Team. Out of D8.
That's a team that could come up north and surprise. If you ask me, I think they could come up and surprise somebody.
Absolutely. Out of D8, the 4th seed for Bantam AA is Lakeville North. The 4th seed in D8 for Pee-wee AA is Lakeville South. I love the fact that Lakeville is in District 8.
Right.
I think it's a lot of fun. D8, the 5th seed. The highest seed remaining Bantam AA is Rochester at the 5th seed.
Wow.
Owatonna, Egan, and Farmington are also still alive.
They're still alive.
Technically.
Okay. Aaron Getchell's the coach of that Rochester team. He's got the Mustangs probably playing some good hockey this time of year.
I would assume so. PWA is in D8. The highest seed remaining is Lakeville North, and then Egan, Rochester, and Lakeville.
I think Rochester gets an auto bid. I really do.
Do they?
I think they probably do.
Egan
But
and
we did
Rochester
mention it, yeah.
remaining.
So that's some good stuff there. And how it works, why there's a 3-teamer, don't ask me. Please, just don't ask me because I don't make the rules. I just report them, you know. But I think it'll be a really fun regional. Sticking on the topic of regionals, we'll be covering it in great form.
Effort.
Again,
I would say detail, but I don't know if we have the bodies.
We will be
detail.
all over the state covering regionals. I believe my first stop will be Bemidji, Minnesota, covering the 15Bs for at least one game. And then I'll make my way from Bemidji off to the Iron Range, where there's a ton of regionals this year. There's Greenway, Hibbing, Mesabi East. Those will be 3 stops. I'll probably make a 12A, Bantam A, and Bantam B. I'll probably collect a few of those, and I'll probably collect a few interviews with a 7A and a 7AA high school team going off to state. That'll be fun to interview them.
Will you riddle me something for a second?
I will try.
There are 6 teams in District 8 for PBAA.
Sounds about right.
Woodbury, Egan, Lakeville South, Lakeville North, Rosemount, Rochester.
Rochester's in District 9, but okay.
But they're in this District 8 playoff bracket.
Yes.
5 out of the 6 teams go to region.
Seems weird, doesn't it? Seems
Holy
like it should be
Hannah.
4. Should be 4.
I remember playing in the Twin Cities District, and we got 3 out of the
3 used to be
20.
Yeah, it's just to be different.
There were 20 teams.
Yeah, it seems weird. But that was at the B level, or right? It wasn't A, right?
No, that was
I don't
B1.
know.
Interesting.
Double A is weird.
I just didn't realize that many teams would go to region out of a 6-team district.
It shouldn't be. And I don't like the way it's set up, but I think after this year, they're going to realize their error, and I think they're going to go back and adjust it after this year.
Last note on D8 PWA's Rosemount upset second-seeded Egan. So they'll play Woodbury in the district final.
I think all those teams 2 through 6 are the same. And I think Woodbury is just in a completely different tax bracket.
Yeah, they drove down to Hastings and won 18-4 in the semifinal.
Not good. Not good. Okay, so before we get to that, I'll talk about the region guide one more time. We're placing as soon as a team wins and is placed. We got 3 people from YHH all over this thing. Josh C. Cookson, Joe Ogen, and myself. We are adding teams and adding scores to our Twitter, constantly promoting it. Ben Lists on Saturday will be consuming all the different spots. So we will be all over the youth stuff as well as girls high school. You'll be at the girls high school tournament. I'll be managing the coverage of the boys.
Your credential application has not been rejected yet, so you might be.
I may be at the girls high school tournament, which is totally fine by me. But I'll probably be doing a lot of section semifinal stuff on Saturday as well. But I definitely want to be there, and I definitely want to interview girls that I've seen play since their U10 days. That's what makes the job so much fun.
But we will be keeping an eye on that region guide. Seriously, watch the region guide. I work here, and I watch the region guide.
I do too.
It is the easiest way to monitor where everybody is going to go.
Yep.
But also bear in mind, it is run by human beings.
Yep,
that have full-time jobs.
Well, the other thing about the human beings, like human beings are doing their job, but sometimes, like I've caught 2 or 3 different errors already in the document that's provided to us by Minnesota Hockey.
Yeah.
So, and there's some things that will happen. So please, if we make a mistake in the guide, don't go on Twitter and go, you screwed up. You know, just simply send an email to youthhockey@gmail.com.
There are
so
so many tiny pieces where there could be an error that there's bound to be a mixed up time or a mixed up location.
We're just doing our best to follow whatever the guides, whatever Minnesota Hockey says, and plugging teams in where they should be going.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Let's talk about locations. I have this list here of all the locations. What is your favorite rink to go to out of all of these sites? And what is your least favorite rink to go to?
Oh man.
And is there one on here you've never been to? There's a couple on here that
There
I've
are
never
a
been
few that I've never been to.
All right,
I've
you
never
picked up Cloquet this week, so
I got Cloquet.
last
I've
week.
been to
So
Cloquet.
yeah.
I've never been to Laverne. I've never
been. Neither have I.
I've never been to
Mesabi East, which I believe is going to be Hoyt Lake. So I'm hoping to maybe sneak over there and get that one.
Go Giants. I've
Right.
never been to Bemidji. I've
Really?
never done a game there.
Okay.
Nope.
I was there last year.
I think I've been to every other. No. Yeah, I've been to Brainerd. I've never covered a game in Brainerd, but you and I went to Brainerd a couple of years ago.
What?
I left a camera in Brainerd.
Oh, did you come up there and do that story, the Brainerd?
We did something up in Brainerd. I remember
Yeah, we
watching
did.
their practice.
We left our camera there, didn't we?
Yes, I did.
Beautiful day.
Yes, I did. But I'm familiar with the rest of these. If I
Not
had
Worthington.
to,
I bet you I've been to Worthington.
no, I don't have.
And
I don't
you've
have a lot of
played
reason
in
to go
both
to
Two
Worthington.
Harbors and Silver Bay, haven't you?
I've played games in Two Harbors, Silver Bay. I think that might actually be it.
Right.
Detroit Lakes.
I've never been
We played an away game in Detroit Lakes against Florida Panthers draft pick Tanner Lane.
Nice.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
I've
Never forget
I've
Tanner.
never been to the Wadena rink, but I've been there several times. My dad is from Wadena, so.
Nice. Every
But,
time I
okay,
drive through Wadena, I think Tony's dad from Wadena.
What? Do you really or no?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I stop in Wadena. It's a good place to stop because there are 2 gas stations.
Yes. Okay, tell me what's your least favorite rink on here. I'm going to get you in
I
trouble.
don't like playing this game.
I love
because
this
it's
game.
gotten me in trouble.
Yeah,
before.
but you're just,
Oh,
you go off the cliff
Is
when you say you don't like
this
it.
band? You know what? I'm going to pick on an association that deserves to be.
I'm going to
picked on.
pick a rink on here, which I rent a
Bantam-
lot of ice from. okay?
Bantam A. Is Minnetonka referring to the Minnetonka?
Pagel.
It's Pagel.
It's Pagel, yes.
I'm still not a huge fan of Pagel. Dang it. I don't have one that I don't really like. I really don't. Well, Eden Prairie. Okay, if I got to pick
That's
one,
the one I was gonna
I'm going to
take.
pick Eden Prairie.
That's the worst rink.
I'm going to pick Eden Prairie.
It is the worst rink. I mean, I know I'm going to get Doug Tucker's going to kill me for saying it, but it's just not
I love
hot.
Doug. I just don't
I like the
their
staff
rink.
there. I just don't like the rink.
I'm not a fan of walking through the lobby and being hit in the head with a basketball.
Yeah,
Or a
it's not
badminton
hockey
racket.
Rink. It's just not a hockey rink.
There are a lot of doors there, and there are a lot of doors that are locked for some reason. So there's only one way. I know why they do it as a facility, but there's only one way into the hockey rink, and it means you got to go through literally everybody in the stands.
You
which can
stole
be
mine. You
Eden
stole
Prairie
it.
would be my least favorite. Out
All
of
right,
those.
so
maybe Lakeville just because of the drive. That's a long drive for me.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Ames. I'm not a big fan of that one. Oh man, I just don't. Now I don't have one on
If
here.
it was Minnetonka Ice Arena, I would say that one, of course, because I don't understand that rink at all. I don't understand the layout. I don't know who designed it. I don't know who tried to
not
get
great.
way too cute designing the bleachers there.
Not great. Don't get me started.
Richfield for photos is tough because it's so dark.
Dark in there, yeah.
St. Louis Park is pretty easy.
I'm gonna
though.
get in trouble here, but I'm gonna go Hermantown.
You don't like Hermantown's
It's not a great rink to shoot in. It's not a great rink to watch a game in. I mean, I like the people there, but the rink is not great. And I think they know that, so I'm going to take a shot at the Hermantown Hawk Dome, as they call it, or Hawk's Nest, or whatever they call it right now. I'm looking forward to seeing the new rink and how it gets meshed in with the current rink too. That's a job in and of itself. So
and once again, this is all in jest. Okay,
Right.
we're not saying that we actually hate the people.
favorite rink, Peter.
The favorite rink
of
out of
these.
all of these, Moorhead. That's an easy one.
Really?
There are 3 sheets.
Really?
There are 3 sheets. There's no downtime.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
But if I had to pick one based on nostalgia, Silver Bay, Rukavina.
I've never been, but
JV
I'm going to go with
hat-trick,
I'm going to
JV
go with
superstar.
Hastings. That rink is just amazing. The wood roof, it just looks like Blake. It's amazing.
Going to
building.
Hastings takes me back to my childhood because people forget what a wagon Hastings was. In the late 90s and early
90s, they were
2000s,
amazing.
you look at the wall at the Hastings lobby and you're like,
Dustin
D1,
Vogel was
D1,
saying.
D1, 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 NHL in Hastings.
Hastings,
Not a
yeah.
fan of the roundabout trying to get into that rink, but
It's okay. It's okay. I would go Hastings is my favorite. It's the prettiest. It's either that or Hibbing Chisholm. You know,
I'm
that's
really
great.
looking forward to
I
Hockey
think this
Day in
Hibbing
Hastings.
one, I think this is actually in Chisholm. And that rink is dog crap. I'm telling you
Oh my
right now. It
gosh.
is terrible.
Whoa, would you
It
chill?
is terrible. The Chisholm rink is brutal.
Oh my gosh,
It
calm
is
down.
not good.
Is there Wi-Fi?
No, there's not.
That's my
It's not
that's my
good.
biggest
It's
that's
a,
my
it's,
biggest
It's a little bit,
thing.
but it's not a great rink. I mean, especially when 15 miles down the road is the nicest rink in the state. It's like night and day, the difference between the Chisholm rink and the Hisby rink.
The McDonald clan is going to come find you and
that's fine. It's a basketball
cut
city,
you
not a
up,
hockey
cut
town.
you up in your sleep.
I'm telling you, I don't mind. That would be a kind of a cool way to die.
The McDonald clan is going to go full Campbell clan on you.
That would be a really cool way to die.
That was a really arcane reference to medieval
I know.
Scottish royalty.
I know. All right, so before we bring in one last thing, a couple announcements. We have our Whiz Wyatt form. If you need one, you'd like to fill one out. We're looking for student athletes, kids that are good students, good leaders, and they play 2 team sports.
At least two. At least two.
More the better. Brody Lamb did 4, which was why he probably won the award. He was a great student and a great athlete and a great hockey player. So we're looking for Whiz Wyatt nominations. We're looking for Sue Ring Jarvie nominations. If you haven't seen it on our social medias, send me an email, youthhockeyhub@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link to fill out the form. It can be a parent. It doesn't matter. We will do all of our research and find the best 5 finalists for each of these awards. Send it in. I want 12 A's and 15 A's. We'll take a 10A. We might give it to 10A if it's somebody's superior. Might be a squirt A. I have an idea for one of our kids on this too. So just send it in. Send us an email at youthhockeyhub@gmail.com. We have our next guest coming up on the show, Wes Jirovec from Wes Jirovec from APX Hockey is coming up. Should be a fun interview. We're joined today with Wes Jirovec from APX Hockey. Do you notice how I said that nice and slow, Wes? Because I don't want to screw it up.
Very well done, Tony. Impressive.
Thank you. I've been saying Map South for 8 years.
You and me both, man.
And you were there way before we partnered up, YHH. You were there for years before that. How many years have you been there?
God, every time.
Don't count, right?
No, it's fun. It's 2 ways. But every time anybody asks me, and I say this will be my 19th year.
Oh my, with MAP?
Yeah. Well, this is roots back to the
early days.
Yeah, the early days. This was Fit and Jason Berg, humble beginnings, and look at us now, man. It's been fun.
Insane.
Hell of a ride.
So you probably worked there while you were maybe in high school or college, because there's no way you're that old.
Yeah, college.
There's no way.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was early days of part-time staff, which we still do the same thing now with our guys.
Ray Christie and Matt Gleason and those guys. I see them.
A couple St. Paul legends.
Yeah.
So I was at UST. Things were just D3 then, and kind of snuck in on a staff meeting.
It's pretty easy because you were there a lot. They shared quarters, right?
Yep. And then, it was a great fit. I had some coaching background, had a passion for it, but was just trying to make some money. And
right.
You know what I mean? It was an awesome, convenient scenario. And things just kind of shook out where there was like big steps in growth when I was finishing up at school. And, I don't know, I guess the rest is history.
Here's a question I have. This is for you and all of those guys who were on their feet from, we'll call it May to August or September. I know you guys do some stuff during the season as well, but does your back or your feet just get sore or just get used to it? Because that's a lot of ice time.
It is. It's a great, accountability is healthy, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's not really a joke. If you can't demo stuff in the weight room, if you can't put, your skates on and illustrate some of the details of execution. Now, granted, there's limitations.
Right.
So like you said, Tony, I ain't getting any younger.
Right.
But we all got to stay sharp. So, like right now, for instance, it's staff workouts or, they're going on every day. Not everybody's there every day, but we got to stay sharp.
Yeah,
and I got to get my butt back on the ice a little bit more here because
it's coming up real quick.
After state, and then party starts.
It does. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about who Wes is really quick. Just give your background. I know you're from St. Paul. Did you play at St. Thomas Academy?
I did.
You were a cadet.
I was once upon a time.
What year were those?
I got done in 05. So
05.
I was there for the Vanilla years.
Yes.
The good old Vanilla
Tell me
years.
one Vanelli quick hitter on either of the brothers, because they were such legends,
They did a lot for us. A great story that I wish was better. We had a tough loss to South St. Paul on the road. South St. Paul was a powerhouse at the time, really good team. and not our best performance. And he didn't say anything
Tom.
in the locker room. Tom,
Yep.
yeah, Tom.
Tom's
on
the alpha,
bus.
correct?
Yes,
Thank you.
very much, very appropriately so.
Yeah.
And it was like this threat on the bus of like, we're going back.
We're
and
gonna
gonna
skate.
skate.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, and unfortunately or fortunately, again, I wouldn't mind if it to come through. I'd love to see what he had for us. It's been fun, looking back now. But the ice wasn't available. He had like men's league on or something.
No.
So yeah, we got saved. But he was, just had a lot of like intensity and passion, and he's just a good human, right? So like when he said stuff, you believed him.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. He's the original article, wasn't he?
Yeah.
All right, so you played there, and you said you played at St. Thomas as well. So you had the St. Thomas transition.
I got a lot of miles in that building, man. You know what I mean?
They're going to name it after you someday.
No, please don't.
Famous alums. Wes Jirovec.
No, it's been fun. It's been
That's really
it's
cool.
been a ride to have so many different, to know what that rinks
Think
look
about
like in a lot
that.
of
You
different
played
capacities.
high school there, played college there, and then basically went right to work there. Like, do you know every square inch of this building?
I better.
Yeah.
That's home. It's home away from home.
It is basically your home. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And I've known you for a long time, and I never really did the calculation on it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just a local kid that wouldn't go away. That's basically it. And
Yeah,
No,
that's
we
cool.
made
That's
a
really
career
cool.
out of it. Who would have thought?
All right, so now we're changing our name. I say we because I feel like I'm part of the family.
My
You know,
man.
we run the band, I believe. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun to see.
No, for sure.
We have a good story we couldn't share here, but we ran each other at a bar and had a really good time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we do.
At Bunny's?
SLP, that's right.
That was a fun time.
Yep.
So it's kind of like family. But what's the name? I understand the name change, but help me communicate why the name change, and we'll get down to why you're different now and all of the other things that good things that come with APX.
Got it. APX Hockey is the new parent company name and the name for the, we'll say, elite development support system for the players.
And that used to be called Map South, correct?
Now, Map South isn't going away. That's just becoming, it's a name we're going to continue to utilize. It's kind of got a community feel to it, right?
Correct.
Of just some a different programming underneath the banner, underneath the umbrella, if that makes sense.
Correct. Yep, I totally makes sense. So there'll be some kids that'll be Map South kids, there'll be other kids that'll be APX kids,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Or college players or professional players.
Yep.
Which and we on this show every week we talk about it doesn't at any different time. When you walk in that building in July or August, you could see a professional hockey player, you could see a peewee player, you could see a high school player, a junior player, a college player. It's fun, just the huge array of players that you guys train in that off season, which has got to be fun for you because it's not the same old, same old. There's a different challenge every time you guys hit the ice.
It's you got to be adaptable. It's fun from like a trajectory standpoint because you're getting like more and more info coming in of going, here's are the steps that these guys are making
Right.
at this next levels that everybody would love to get to, but these are, huge accomplishments.
Yeah.
So it's not like, of course there's some of the physical execution stuff that's important, but I think a lot more of it, what we like investing in, it's what are the breakthroughs, mental performance, maturity,
Leadership.
right? What are these things that are becoming the common denominators?
Yeah.
And now, like, let's just inject it, or, you can only do so much, but find the opportunities as often as possible to expose these guys to these conversations because that's where they want to go.
Right.
It's great.
Right. That's fun. That's got to be the fun, most rewarding part about your job, right?
It is. And
I
then
would
it's
think so.
the culture side too, right? It's you know what I mean? Hey, we schedule some stuff this way. And geez, even kids otherwise, I love every time someone goes, hey, when's the pro skate? Or they'll even ask when the college skate is.
Yeah.
Guys
They
in
want
high
to
school.
watch.
Right. And they just want to see what's going on and see how they're doing.
Yeah,
stuff.
they definitely want to watch. I would have wanted to watch for sure. I want to just dial it in and see who these guys are, where I stack up, that kind of thing. Before we get to how you're different, I just want to share a story when I'm over there and I get a chance to go. I call it the lunchroom because it's got a big old picnic table, but you call it the lounge. And to me, that if you really want to pull back the onion and see what Map South, now APX, is all about, go sit in there for 10 minutes and watch the guys come in and out of there. You got the goalie guys, you got the pro guys, you got Raz, you got you got Shauna, you got all the crew there. And man, do you guys let each other have it good. And I mean that in a good way, in a good, fun-loving way. You guys all love each other. You all work together every day. It's a 365, 24/7 kind of place. And you just get I get a great, every time I leave, I'm like, that's such a cool place. I wish my company had a room like that where we just sat there and kind of, learned from each other, gave each other a hard time, and built a real good culture there. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the lounge.
It's, the war room. It's ground
everything.
zero.
Yeah.
It is. I'd say it's a materialization of the culture of the staff, because, we get a lot cooking, right? It's a big party. It's fun. So you have compartmentalization. You have to. Who's accountable for what? Who's got to make these decisions? Who's allocating their hours? Where they need to be. But it's always been, and this is like, there's no reason to suggest that we won't continue to lean into this mentality for everybody with all these new ventures. It's very team oriented. So it's just so nice, like, whether it's Shawno, who's, organizing some programming from a Blue Army perspective and can lean on the guys to just see what everybody else thinks.
Right.
I'm in the middle of an involved, we'll call it, a mentorship, phone conversation I've come up with a kid who's going through some hard times.
Yeah.
And I can talk to Ras and talk to the guys about, what do you think? Hey, here's what's going on. So it's always just, it stems that everybody cares that much to want to do right in whatever we're doing. So yeah. But again, hey, it's definitely a locker room mentality.
Big time. And I mean that in a good way.
Yes. No, you wouldn't want it either way.
It's adults. It's not the 13-year-old locker room mentality.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. Locker room mentality in that it's very authentic. There's, it's honesty. Yeah. You got to have tough skin. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
I love it.
It comes, it's all from love, man. You know what I mean? Like, those are, at this point,
I love it.
How long we've been around, the relationships I have with almost everybody in there are like, some of the ones that I treasure the most outside of work. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Some of my best friends.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. So let's hear how the new APX is going to be a little bit different. I definitely want to get to the advisory stuff, because that's such a big thing these days. Everybody's got an advisor. Everyone's got an agent. Everyone's got this. And the things that you guys are going to do and how you're going to leverage your guys' experiences and helping athletes, your athletes and future athletes, with advising, whether it be a junior decision or a college decision or connections into those worlds out there. Tell me what that looks like.
That, I mean, there were so many motivations for the rebrand and the rename, and wanting to roll this advisement service out was a big one for sure.
Right.
I mean, that's probably the most exciting new venture that we're going down. And man, we're just here. I'm lucky. I'm at the forefront of mentorship conversations, not just with the boys, with families.
Right.
And
you've been doing this all along.
Correct.
This is the part where where like, well, what a natural progression, because I feel like when I see you guys at hockey games, you're talking with them after the game and you're giving them advice about, their play, or it's good just to see them, or it's, hey, I got this deal. My kid's, he might be going the NAL or the USHL. What's the best route for me? What are some decisions I got to make? These are hard decisions. Wes, what should I do? Right?
Absolutely. And this, I mean, hey, two sides. One, anything we've ever wanted to roll out, you want to knock it out of the park.
Correct.
So, we put the wheels in motion a long time ago and just wanting to feel really confident about executing this opportunity. And again, let's hits close to home when, probably going to be the large majority of our clientele for this will be our boys. Right. So if we're going to say, hey, listen, there's this additional support system, there's more ways that we want to help. There's no way you'd be comfortable saying you can't absolutely follow through with promises, and somebody who wants to take this next step wouldn't be so excited and fulfilled on what we're offering, right?
Absolutely.
And so the other side is this too, and this is like where, again, these are big conversation pieces amongst a lot of people. But for me, it was always this, like I always just felt so bad anytime I heard about an interaction or relationship from an advising standpoint, and an individual wasn't doing right by that kid and that family. And I don't. It's not saying
I know
that,
exactly what you're
you know what I
talking
mean.
about.
It's not. We're not like doing naming names and stuff like that. There's
No.
lots of good people out there. I mean, it's just hockey.
Yeah.
But it's more like this. It's a relationship first and foremost.
Yeah.
And if you're not being transparent and authentic, and you're not setting appropriate expectations,
Exactly.
then you get in the weeds, and it's not healthy. And I feel so bad when it's like, listen, I mean, hey, if there's one thing from a culture standpoint, from us, like community-wise, and taking care of, the boys more
Yeah.
particularly, that's what we got a lot of the miles with. It's telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Amen. Preach on.
Well,
Preach on. I'm with you.
And you know this too, right? You got to
I
have
see it all the time.
right. You got to have the right set of ears, and you have to have, people who want to listen or open that. So you just got to establish that beforehand. We're the same way with that stuff. You can't just, telling people what they need to hear isn't about being a jerk to kids and families.
No.
You got to be a tactical communicator. But that's like just so much of what it is, right? And hey, there's some parts of this too. It's like, geez, this is the scenario you hear a lot. Players, in junior hockey? Hey, I'm not happy with what's going on. I'm not in the power play. I'm not putting up the points I want, and I think the coach doesn't like me.
Right.
I want to trade. I got to get out of here.
Well, that's the best time, isn't it?
Well,
I think it's the best time to talk to somebody. I'm like, okay, well,
cool, correct. That's
right?
that's
Like,
when you
this
need to
is
have
what-
an involved dialogue and someone who's watching the game and going, listen, here, I hear what you're saying. No, you're not in the power play. No, you're not scoring. And coach looks like he's overall not happy with your performance.
Right.
But dude, here's why.
Exactly.
So you just throwing your hands up and pulling the
Let me
eject.
make some calls to Janesville, right?
That's what I mean.
Everybody wants you to make the call, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's not necessarily always the right way to go about it, right?
Correct. There's a lot of yes men in hockey, and if hey, some people are worried about paying the bills and not wanting to rock the boat.
Yeah.
And that's how you want to do it. That's just not how we're going to do it.
No, I agree.
And that's not what the boys deserve.
Do you have, we'll get to your role in just a second. Are there new employees? Are there people in your advisory you're ready to name on this show, or do you want to keep that on the DL for now?
I think we'll wait for those,
And we'll announce that. We'll
Yep.
we'll be retweeting all your stuff and
we'll want to get it up
helping
on
you guys.
the website and stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep. Okay, so we don't have any quite yet, but you got plans.
Yep.
If you already know you have a guy coming in to help Sean in a year, we know that you have a plan in place.
we've made 2 big hires right now. Just wanting to wait.
No worries.
For the big
No worries.
reveal.
But I would want to just if I didn't
Yes.
ask, then I could get fired. So I don't want to. I want to make sure I get that one out there.
But we can say, Sean Erickson on our
Yep.
staff is
If you don't know Shano, then it's just one of those people you got to check off your list to meet because he is 1 in a million.
Mr. Blue Army.
Yeah, he is.
So Shano appropriately is tasked with leading the charge there. And again, it's great to have someone at the forefront. Hey, not that the people you're bringing in aren't going to be preaching the same truths that we are, but he'll be a great Shano just got a lot of knowledge from everything he's done before.
Right.
All the age groups he's been exposed to, his playing career, of course. He's just the right guy for the gig to just make sure that that's all going to go as awesome as it's
Well,
supposed
if he's
to.
running it, it will be successful.
Yeah.
No question about it. All right, and now West, with this name change, what is your current role with APX, and will your role change at all within the company?
I suppose I do have a job title.
What is it?
Well,
I got to hear this. I got to write this down.
It's the Director of Player Development. But more than that, hey, I mentioned before, there's compartmentalization, there's team. So I suppose within that, I'm directly accountable, specific towards mentorship for the players, families,
Right.
high school groups, our college group too. But I'm lucky, right? We wouldn't want to do this in different. I get regular touches with all of our groups.
You do.
The young kids, different programming.
So you're getting the 12-year-olds all the way to the pros, or does Raz just handle the pros?
Raz handle the pros.
And we
I
say
can
Raz,
jump.
it's Eric Rasmussen.
Correct.
We are using a lot of Shaunos. That's Sean Erickson.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
excuse me.
No, you and I are just BSing here, We were just throwing out nicknames. So.
Yeah. The only role I'd probably have with the pro guys is keeping the locker room light when I see those guys. You know what I mean? So, no, Raz compartmentalizes a good job of managing their on-ice, their off-ice
Right.
mentorship
Right.
stuff, too. It's a good group of guys, man. They're the best.
All right. Did I miss anything today? We got it all covered. We have a name change. We know why we changed the name. We know who Wes is, and we know that some exciting things are coming.
No, I think if there's anything I could add, I suppose, it's that, like, here's my take, right, on, people going, like, from the development standpoint, right? My front lines.
Yep.
People would maybe go, name change means, are we blowing this thing up?
No.
What's different? What's going on?
I'd say it's getting
right?
better.
Well, it's this, right? Always trying to make improvements. I mean, geez, this is so fun. If there's ever, like, communication processes, ways you're connecting with players, things the way you teach on the ice. If that's the same every year, then we're losing. We would never be that way.
Correct.
But more so, it's kind of been, I'd say, like a consistent evolution for a long time, but more particular in the last 4 years. We're just the depth of the groups, us being, again, even more, I think, impactful on connecting with players.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, they're kids, right? Everyone's got room for growth, but impacting players, like, on a human standpoint, it's so fun when you can speak about details and habits and, your response systems. And, of course, it's always about hockey. You want to be better hockey players, but we can wrap that up, or at the end of it say, listen, inevitably everybody's got to hang up the skates.
Right.
So when you have some lasting impressions on character traits that you've developed, and whatever your next passion is, your next venture, or just wanting to be, a good friend, a good husband, a good family member, like, these things, it's so fun and so meaningful.
A guy you could name, like, hey, I was working with Ray Christie, or I was working with, these guys. You got a guy like, hey, I saw him when he came in, because you've been there 19 years. There's got to be a success story of a kid. He came in and may not have had the confidence, but he not because of everything that you guys did, but you guys were a part of carrying this young man or this young woman to a higher level or higher standard in his life.
Yes.
Let's have one.
I'll tell a this is a community kid, because he's Garrett Horsarg is a Rosemount kid. He's on our staff now.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Horse is playing at Bentley now. He's in the middle of a really good sophomore season there.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those cool stories. I know you always appreciate these stories too.
Yeah,
this is
I love
like, late bloomer, not necessarily diamond in the rough.
But the other thing is, he played on a team with a lot of superstars in front of him who are not playing Division I hockey right now, or playing the amount of minutes he's getting at Bentley.
Oh, those teams at Rosemount were
unbelievable.
Yeah, rock stars. So first is this. He had to make the most of, like, his entire junior career. And
all 3 years, right?
Correct. Yep. All 3 years. Wasn't even ready to play in a Tier 2 level. He was playing U18 Tier 1 for
a lot of people do
Des Moines
that.
Junior Bucks at the time. Correct. Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
So he had to take his whole career to get his commit at Bentley, which was obviously so exciting. It was in the middle of we're crushing workouts, and we're happy and proud to hear updates when involved with his process when he finally got it sorted out.
Yeah.
But it was just a story of a kid who loved coming to the rink, had some definitely this. You can't just love hockey.
Yeah,
He loved to win. He was a really diligent processor, just an undersized kid growing up, but had all of these underlying, like, these seeds were planted. So even when he was a peewee, you were like, this can be something for sure.
Yeah.
And granted, he put so much time, like, you couldn't, like, hey, I got a lot of miles in that rink. I couldn't even add up the hours he's put in since he started.
Really?
And just, going through some bumps in the road, it's tough, right? Again, your kids can't help but compare themselves to their peers
he's got
around
all
them.
the other peers, right?
Right. So for him to stay focused, stay patient in some tough times, and just still love the rink, still love putting time in, still investing in the areas that he knew were important. And again, it's one thing to just play college hockey. I mean, he's doing really well.
The other neat part about him is what a great living example he can be for other kids in your program if he's working for you now.
Yes.
Because it's like, if anybody could do it, I had no business being where I am if it weren't for the hard work. If you want to do it, you can get there.
Right. This is our whole, again, here's culture. It's so fun to have this. Our entire part-time staff, basically, maybe there's a couple exceptions here and there, is all guys who were multiple years in the program.
Right.
So like them being on the other side of the conversation now, or them recalling, some of those bumps in the road of being the undersized peewee, and a little frustrated on game day when you're getting railroaded because the kid outweighs you by 50 pounds. Like he's there to go,
nope, that was me.
I feel you. It's all good.
That's really good. I knew you'd have a good story, and Garrett's a great kid, and always fun to hear that. Always fun to catch up with you too, Wes. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate
Wes
it.
Jirovec from APX Hockey. Well, that was a fun interview with Wes Jirovec from APX Hockey. I loved just sitting down with him, and he told some good stories, and I think he tells a great story about APX. You weren't in the room, so maybe you could ask me a question or two that was in the interview, and I could help you.
What does APX stand for?
I was going to ask that.
Wow. Wow, I have
Next
no
question.
idea. Something
Apex?
Advanced. Something.
There's no way it's an acronym because what does X stand for? It's
Extreme.
Extreme.
I
Did
don't
you get it?
Is it Advanced Placement Extreme? No, there's another Apex.
APX, not Apex. APX. This is good radio here.
There is another Apex Hockey, though.
There is.
APX-Hockey.
There you go.
That's the actual website.
Yep.
APX Hockey. Achieve greatness. About Advanced Player EXP Experience. So it's Advanced Player Experience.
Advanced Player Experience. That's
Very
what
cool.
it stands for.
Advanced Player Experience.
That was almost like we planned it.
Advanced Player
We didn't
Experience.
play it.
Well, I'm sorry I
that
threw
way.
you such a crazy curveball. Like, what does the acronym stand for?
I didn't even really plan on that. I was kind of more focused on Wes and hearing about his journey. And an interesting journey, though, because he played at STA for the Vanelli brothers, which he told me a good story about.
Yeah.
And then he's worked there for 19 years. He went to college, played at the University of St. Thomas, and now he works at St. Thomas Ice Arena. So basically his entire life has been spent since 16 years old until today at that arena. So if anybody knows every square inch of that building, it would be Wes.
Yeah. I don't actually know.
Except the women's locker room and the women's bathroom. Okay, other than that, I think he's got it down. Okay. So not every square inch.
I don't think anybody really was thinking about
Just
that. Those
there's
square
some
inches.
littlest out there,
I'm not sure Wes has an apartment or a house.
No, it's just
I think
there.
he just sleeps on a cot.
He stays at the lounge.
In the dry land area.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, don't you all wish you had that sometimes? Not necessarily.
No.
No?
Never.
A
No.
cot.
Just like,
Oh, a cot for like maybe to lay down in when I'm there, not or to spend the night.
no, just at work or anywhere, just a room where you can almost like reset, instead of having to go home. And
I'm not a big nap person. I
No?
don't like napping.
I don't think I can nap in the building of work.
I don't think I could either.
I don't think I can.
No?
Look, I'd be laying here and I'd be like,
you wouldn't get up.
shoot, there's Ryan in the next room waiting or working. Shoot, there's Sharon working and I'm like snoozing.
I don't think I could do a nap.
Because we have this parking garage here, which there's no windows. I have snuck down there probably 3 times in 10 years, got in the back seat of my car, and 3 times.
That's the most uncomfortable spot.
No, actually, I got it. I'll show you someday how it's really comfortable.
If you're tired enough to lay down in your car, you're probably tired enough to fall asleep
My
in the car.
back seat is buckets.
Also, they can go
so
down.
I can kind of adjust it to whatever. I did it a couple times. It was like, oh, God, this feels good. But I'm usually not tired during the day. But those were a couple days in there where I was like, Zonkville, total Zonkville. So that interview was brought to you by APX Hockey. I can't wait to hear about your new stick, Peter.
I've gotten
from
to use
General Sports.
I've gotten to use it
Are there
once.
any goals on that stick?
There are 2.
2 goals.
Yep.
Any
So,
assists?
I don't count my assists.
Well, I never did either.
There are a lot of assists in an hour and a half of free-flowing old man hockey.
You should count your assists.
There were 2 goals and 2 pipes. My first goal was a rebound, and then my second one was a pretty sick Datsuk move, and I got hauled down from behind, and while I was on my butt, I slapped the puck past the 75-year-old goaltender.
Yeah.
So when you're on your
I kick ass.
You don't wear breezers.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I wear breezers, shin pads, elbow pads, gloves, helmet with a cage. Obviously,
I have this little girdle you would wear underneath my reffing pants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be perfect for men's
girdle?
league. No, it's just got a little light padding for.
It's almost
I would recommend
Yeah.
wearing breezers.
it's almost breezers without the shell.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
a
not
nice
recommend
little-
that for.
There
our
are. I don't know if
hockey,
you've ever
no.
seen those. Those do exist where like
The padding's only about this thick or
there are
thin.
there are
It's not
breezers.
very-
A couple of my old teammates would have them where it was literally like the under part, and then they just wear the breezer covers
Yep.
on top
Interesting.
of. So you're not. Because I always thought breezer covers on top of regular breezers was a little restrictive.
I thought so too.
I never played with breezer covers.
They weren't.
We
they
did.
Looked,
we
they looked.
actually had these things called Cooperalls. Remember the Cooperalls? The
They
full
made you look
pants?
sharp. Yeah.
The full pants.
Mm-hmm.
We had those, but we just wore breezer covers that went. They made breezer covers. Cooperalls breezer covers that covered our shells.
That sounds terrible.
Why?
That sounds like so much material.
No. The girdle was like form fitting to your body, and then the breezer cover just was like a shell. It was no big deal. It wasn't restricted at all.
I wear regular breezers.
Well, that's
whatever I could
basically what I
find
was
it,
wearing.
whatever I could find to play it against sports. That's
That's basically what I was wearing, but the shell underneath it was way better, way
Now
better
there's
than
youth
breezers.
teams wearing breezer covers.
Yeah, over breezers.
Well, there's some teams like White Bear Lake has 3 jerseys every year.
Yes,
They have a home, they have away, and then they have a
Third.
special
like
third
orange,
jersey.
Orange, usually orange. Yeah.
Until I think we wore 1 jersey the entire time. Until I got to my second year of Pee Wees, I had a 1 jersey.
Oh no, we had home and aways.
I had 1 jersey. I played the in-house at Roseville, and you got a color.
Yeah,
Gray, red, yellow, black, whatever.
we weren't as nice as the kids today, but we had nice home and aways for sure.
And we didn't have those. But I love my stick. It's a Bauer Twitch. It's a P90 TM.
Speaking of the good old days, my good friend Joe Walker, my line mate from high school, is calling me right now.
Wow.
How's that for the good
You guys
old
were
days right
definitely the Energizer line.
there? He was a playmaker, and I was a goal scorer. And we had a guy who
Sure.
go hustle it.
Yeah, right.
Mike Kist,
Sure.
K-I-S-T, was the hustler.
And everybody clapped as you came out of the locker room and cheered and
As opposed to what?
right, Peter?
As opposed to just ignoring you.
Sure.
Well, nobody clapped and cheered when I came out of the locker room either. We played at the Coliseum.
Because it was
there was nobody there.
11:30 at night.
Like for
No.
men's league is late. In high school, nobody came to our games. At least it
Because
felt
you were like
nobody
5 different
came.
high schools.
Well, we were 5 different schools, and we played at the Coliseum. So even if there were 250 people, it wouldn't have mattered because we
wouldn't
were
matter.
playing in an airplane hangar.
Yeah, that place is huge.
It was hot. It was quiet. It was cramped. We didn't
had-
have our own locker room.
we had
We had to
games
bring our gear
at a
everywhere.
place called the Minneapolis Auditorium, which is no longer standing. It's where the convention center is now. It's
The
kind of
Minneapolis Convention Center.
Cool. Yeah, it's where the Minneapolis
Convention
Auditorium used to be.
centers really had a time, didn't they? Every
still do.
town was building something called a convention.
They still
center.
do. I mean, the Minneapolis Convention Center is a nice place. I was there for Jake's graduation. Was your graduation there?
Mhm.
It's nice. That place was nice.
Bloomington
I never
uses
knew-
the Minneapolis Convention Center as
Well,
its
Eden
graduation
Prairie
hall.
and Edina used Mariucci.
That's what I would assume Bloomington would use.
We had in the past. My sister was at Mariucci.
yeah. It's just I liked it. I love that place.
Oh, yeah, it's an
I couldn't
auditorium.
believe it was a big auditorium. It was pretty nice, actually.
The St. Paul City Schools use Roy Wilkins
I believe that.
in the.
That makes sense.
Laura and I saw our old neighbors Ben and Tien at graduation one day. They were walking downtown and we were coming back from dinner.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Central High School.
All right, before we hand out some roses and thorns, one more sponsor, and that would be the Red Balloon Pediatric Urgent Care. Thanks to Red Balloon for being a longtime sponsor this year, joining us this year. It's been fun having them, learning about what they do. First dose antibiotics, first doses, which is fantastic. So you go to a place that's open from 3 to 11. A lot of times you don't want to go back go through the whole process of getting the prescription filled that night. You can get that first dose from them, which is fantastic. No lines, no waiting. They do stitches. They'll get you taken care of in any way you can in any pediatric urgent care way.
How rare is it these days to find a mega corporation tied, medical
To
clinic?
anything.
Like the family
Like the
doctor
Minute Clinic.
doesn't exist anymore.
Like that's what this is.
That's what I'm
like a
saying.
minute clinic is even run by a major conglomerate.
Right.
This is a small, it's a woman who's a nurse practitioner, and she has a collection of other nurse practitioners who help to fill in hours and, her in between times. And she's got a great staff. It's a beautiful building, 73rd in France. I highly, highly recommend you going and see Nicole and all of her cronies over at Red Bull. I mean, in a good way. Her cronies are good people. Some really good people.
A lot of value in, having a relationship with a practitioner and somebody that actually knows you and recognizes your face and truly wants to help out.
Check out Red Balloon, and maybe after some of these roses and thorns, maybe Peter or I will have to go in and get checked out.
I feel great.
Let's hear yours.
I feel great.
I have 2 each.
My rose right now is all of the girls' high school players that were so generous with their time and super flexible with the schedules. It feels like after a few years of kind of cowboying these 15 questions in 60 seconds, I feel like we've got it down to a pretty decent science here where we're not. I remember interviewing Cameron Van Batavia in the lobby of the Intercontinental Hotel the night before they took the ice at 11 in the morning, and Laura driving me around downtown so that I could hit Warroad at the Hampton Inn, Laverne at the Intercontinental. But it feels like we've got it down to a science where we can do some of the interviews on the ice at some of the far away section finals, which is awesome. You did a great job in Thief River Falls and Fergus Falls. That's super helpful to have those done, and then the Metro players just come in to our office. But shout out to the girls who participated. It's a lot of fun to get to know some of these players off the ice and what makes them tick, and we're very fortunate and privileged to be able to promote such a great tournament and such a great game.
Yeah, it was fun. I like doing it. Like next week will be the boys, and I'll be in East Grand Forks on Thursday night, and then based on where everybody finishes, I'll be going to youth regionals and probably the northern part of the state, like in Bemidji and Hibbing and Coleraine, and then I'll knock out some 7As and 7AA. I'll have the 8As and 8AA, and we'll worry about the Laverne. If Laverne makes it, we'll make sure you're down in Lund Arena, right, to knock out that interview. And then the rest of them kind of take care of itself, I think. Like you said, we kind of have a cottage industry inviting these kids to come into the office, hang out with us for 10 or 15 minutes, do a quick little interview. They're so excited about the state tournament that they love coming in and doing the questions and just chatting up and talking some more hockey. And I see you finally figured out that Sunday works better than Monday, so it's fantastic. Sunday
does work better than Monday.
It's fantastic.
Honestly, we're at the point of the season where if you slow down for a little while, you lose all your momentum. So it's better just to keep doing things.
Just basically that Saturday, I am like dialing for dollars, but with text. I'm like, okay, I need Stella Retram's number. I need this girl's number. I need that kid's number. And pretty soon you got all 16 teams. You've knocked out 4 or 5 of them already with the outstate kids, and then now you're just knocking out Orono.
It is so nice to look at that list.
Edina, and okay, that's close. I got him, and then it's like, okay, I want Johnny Hirschfeld. Send Johnny Hirschfeld. And guess what? Johnny forgot. So he was supposed to be there at
Last
3.
year.
Oh, my God. I love that kid. And sure enough, he's like, I'll buzz down there. Don't worry. Sorry, Mr. Zozel, blah, blah, blah. And he came down there and knocked his interview out. But it's also kind of weird because he knows we've been just sitting there twiddling our thumbs for an hour waiting for one guy. We had Johnny Middlestad. He forgot. I mean, we've had a few that just plain forget.
The girls don't forget.
You don't. You just jinxed it for next year.
They don't forget. But it was a lot of fun.
I'm going to go with Nora Kratz. Will forget next year.
She got a shout out from one of the Farmington.
I love Nora.
Captains
She's great.
As the team's
She's
most underrated player. But once again, thank you so much for participating. It is a lot of fun for us, and we hope it's a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll go Thorn first because this one's going to get you going. I love it when I get Peter just turn the knife.
I'm not really going. I just sent a very long text message, and it kind of sapped me of all my angry energy.
All right, good. Well, then I picked a perfect time. Mine is to the Canadian hockey fans, and for that matter, the American hockey fans. Any hockey fans, I don't care what your nationality is or what anthem is playing, don't boo. Seriously. Like, let's show some sportsmanship here and let the players play, and let's not make sports about politics and not politics about sports. No sports washing. I hate all that stuff. Let the sport be the sport. That's one of my 2 thorns.
I'm a fan of not playing the anthem before games.
I am not. I like the anthems being
who
played.
cares?
I do. I think it's cool. It's like especially when there's two nations. Especially when
in
there's two
international
nations.
play,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But okay, Canadians don't boo the anthem. Okay, let's flip this. If Justin Trudeau spent the last few weeks telling everybody that we were going to annex the United States,
Same answer.
yeah, but
Same
Americans
answer.
would not react in kind to that.
Well, the difference
Let's
is-
stop pretending that America's on some moral high ground when it comes to boorish behavior at sporting events. Come on.
Peter, I did not say Americans. I just said in general. I don't support that. So
I
also think
I wouldn't
Canadians-
boo the anthem either, but I understand why they're doing it.
sure.
I mean, I can see how Canadians take a lot more offense to it than like calling us the 11th province, whatever. Because like, there's a lot higher chance. Well, like, Canada could be the 51st state if America Trump truly wanted to, as we're.
I don't think that'll happen. I
No,
think
no,
he'd
this
get
is-
impeached if he did that.
No, of course, but I'm saying Canada. There's an
Truly
actual,
impeached.
There's an actual
not partially impeached.
There's an actual threat towards Canada because
That's not an actual threat.
No, but I'm saying, from the
He's saying
powers
that
of the
if-
two countries,
if we-
America could actually pull it off.
If
Canada
there was a
could not.
heavyweight
Could
bout
not.
between Canada and the United
Yeah,
States, it'd probably
no
come down to the
question.
United States. But forgive me for not wanting to be the biggest bully on the playground.
That's why I think
I agree.
the reactions are a little obviously.
I understand.
Charge.
I understand why they're booing. I really do.
I guess I understand, but I also don't like. I don't agree with it.
Okay,
Next-
hold on.
next
Hold on.
roll
though.
is next
hold,
Thorn.
hold on,
This
though.
isn't politics.
Is
This is like
there
youth hockey.
You brought it up.
I just said.
I'm asking you if there is a legitimate separation between sports and politics.
Is there? I would like
No,
that.
there's not.
I don't like it.
But
That's
there's
what I'm
not.
saying.
Well,
Okay,
let's
fine.
say this. There's while you're representing your country, no, because that's who you're representing.
I too hate freedom of speech.
Do the Anaheim
go.
do the Anaheim Ducks represent what Trump thinks? No.
Actually, Anaheim might. The
No.
LA Kings, maybe not.
Right.
Whatever.
But like, if you're representing your country, you're obviously bound to the politics of your country. As we see, one country's not even playing.
Right.
So clearly politics affects
Definitely,
sports.
I agree. There's a valid point.
Or else Russia would be playing.
Can we move on? I did not want to make this.
Why would you do this? We just got very good news, and you just ruined the very good news.
I just want.
I think Russia's the best. Would have the best team.
One of them, not guaranteed. I don't think
Better
that's a
than
guarantee.
either of the Swinner feeds.
No guarantee of that.
What do I have a Thorn? Do you want to hear the good news? It involves you.
Sure, I would love to hear it.
I'm going to need you to clear your schedule on March 3rd in the morning.
I don't know.
Oh, is this going to be the mayor of St. Paul?
Mayor Melvin Carter is very excited to participate in this podcast.
I love that. That's
Melvin.
great news.
And
That's
it would be
fantastic news.
easiest if we could go to them.
Fine by me.
That's fine. That's
I'll
fine.
it up,
meet
baby.
you as long as it's in Ramsey County. I'll go.
I think we're going to be headed to St. Paul on March 3rd. That's very
That's
good news.
awesome.
That's exciting. I firmly expected to get a thanks, but no thanks from his communications team.
I love that. Nice work, by the way.
I don't really have a Thorn. I mean, it's that time of year where people pop out of the woodwork and complain about
I'm not
random
going.
stuff.
I've given
but
that one so many times.
I'm not thinking of the one that you're thinking of. It feels like every time around this year, anything that we put out is game for people to complain about.
Oh, yeah.
Like the
What?
the video where it said somebody tied the Hill Murray game with under a minute to play, and somebody has so
There's
much
a minute
time on their
12 on the clock.
It actually says a minute 12 on the clock.
That's a thorn. That is a thorn to whoever that
There's a
loser.
minute- there's a minute
Sorry,
12 on the clock.
whoever that
There's a minute
loser
12 on the clock.
was. And you know what? I can say loser because it wasn't Jim Smith. It was a total.
It's
It was an anonymous account.
the person
like, those
that,
guys,
the-
you're a loser.
the
Anybody who's
person-
got a burner account and wants to go there and
the fake account that called
Fake
two
account
players
us.
posers because they said hello to each other after the
Yeah.
game. In between bites of a frozen banquet meal because you can't even afford a Hungry Man.
Yeah.
Come on. You're not classy enough for Hungry Man. You're eating a banquet Salisbury
Agreed.
steak
Agreed.
in between angry tweets.
all right, yeah, that was.
You are the
do
relative
get-
that does
you
not get
definitely-
invited to Christmas.
You definitely get the loser tag if you're using a burner account to destroy somebody.
Yeah.
Those people, no thanks.
Oh,
All right,
God.
so my last thorn is, before I hand out some roses, is to the weather roller coaster we've been on this winter. I swear, 1 minute it's been like 38 degrees, and now it's 38 below. And then it snows, and
Really?
then the snow melts.
Really?
I'm not a big fan of roll. I just keep it nice and steady, and I don't like it cold. That's my
How
thorn.
could you even? How is that even a thorn?
That's a thorn.
You're blaming
I
the
don't
weather.
like the weather this winter. It's not been good.
We got one more rose.
I got
that
two.
We could probably pump out there. The Frontline Foundation is doing a charity hockey event, Guns and Hoses.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that, yeah.
Which is interesting. To date, the event has raised more than $310,000 for organizations like
Nice.
the Frontline Foundation. This raises money for charity, first responder charity. Law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMTs, and members of the National Guard across Minnesota to grant financial support to families of first responders who have died in the line of duty.
And I think we're on the 1-year anniversary of the guys from Burnsville. I saw a tweet
Yes.
about that in the last 24 hours. So very, very sad.
February 21st, Centennial Youth Hockey Mites will play at 4:45, and then Police versus Fire will be at 6 o'clock on Rink 1 at the Blaine Super Rink. You can find out more. We have a press release posted at youthhockeyhub.com.
Love that. I got one more, and then I got a final one for our staff. And I know people probably get bored of me thanking our staff, but what we've done in the last couple of weeks is remarkable. Before I get to that, I have one for this little girl. Ryan was at the game shooting photos, and with Marissa, she did a fantastic job on some videos.
Yep.
And then this is for a little girl. I remember her coming in with her dad and possibly another sibling. I felt like there was two siblings. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, our friend. I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a very adult crowd, because there wasn't a lot of room for little guys and girls to run around in. It was such a packed building.
Yep.
And like Ryan said, it was a perfectly or imperfectly placed pass through the the defensive zone.
Right through it was like a backdoor pass.
And it missed, and it got deflected, and it hit this little girl in the face. And she was shaking up pretty good. She was on her dad's lap the rest of the game with an ice pack. And my shout out to her that she toughed it out and was able to hopefully see a fantastic ending to a fantastic game. And then last but not least, I'm just going to list off some things that we've done in the last, what seems like the last 10 days. We've put on close to 10 podcasts that are very successful. We've released 2 different sets of Player of the Year awards for high school Player of the Year. We've attended 16 for 16 section finals, and then we are preparing for 2 or 3 more massive weekends before the Stars of Tomorrow. This all is being accomplished by a very, very small business, a very, very small staff, and my hat's off to all of them, and a big dozen roses, Valentine's Day type roses.
Thanks,
so fantastic work. It's unbelievable. There are days I go on the Twitter feed, I'm like, this is beyond my wildest dreams from even 5 to 10 years ago.
From even
Where we
2
are.
years ago.
Yeah, from even 2 years ago. It's just remarkable.
Can I add a little my
Addendum?
to this?
Yeah,
segment?
sure.
Postscript.
I have a thorn.
Oh, I got a thorn.
oh.
I just thanked all the staff, and the new guy walks in with a thorn.
not to the staff.
All right, good.
It's more of a general. I guess it's to people, how people act towards the staff.
What do
or
you mean?
Others.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy, here we go.
I have a thorn for people who try to tell others how to do their job.
Oh boy.
And a very good example of this was at the game when there was a gouge in the ice. Suddenly, everybody was a rink manager for 30 years.
Yeah, there was 2,900 rink managers in the building.
And they all had a different idea on how to fix the gouge the quickest. And some people are like, you got to get more water on it. No. You got to get the snow and the puck out there. And some people are like, you just got to let it sit and freeze. And like, and then the other, I guess, towards
I
us,
agree with that. I totally agree with that.
there's that. And then there's also people.
Can I just make a sidebar to that?
Everybody becomes an ice expert.
Well, my funniest part is, and this is going to be a slam on the PA guy. The PA guy thanked the ice staff for fixing the ice that they damaged. I'm like, well, if they wouldn't have damaged it, we wouldn't have had to thank them.
I'm like,
just put a sock in it. Like, everybody knows they made a mistake.
Yeah.
We got elongated. We get set back by 50 minutes. That's what happens in hockey, and everything's fine. But I agree with you.
Originally, the the guy who did it inadvertently,
geez.
obviously.
Yeah.
When the ref came out, I think he wanted it to be like, it's fine, like they can play on it. And the ref was like,
No.
no.
I
And then,
can't wait to talk to Stump about it because he was one of the 2 refs. I was like,
But-
I can't wait to hear about it.
I guess in that sense, but another thing is people often tell me or us, you should do this on the podcast or you should take photos and cover this and that. And I'm like,
Oh, I don't mind that.
I love your suggestions, of course, but
But 1 out of 100 are actually good.
well, yeah, I mean,
I'm in Thorn Rose mode. But yeah, they're like, yeah, you should do this. You should not
or
do
like,
that. I'm like,
your player of the years and stuff like that.
No comment.
I'm just like,
no comment.
I'm just like, hey, like,
It's a little inside baseball, but I think it would behoove us as a company to be at least mildly receptive to people's suggestions because we are playing to an audience here.
Correct.
We don't do this pod for my health.
No, but at the same time, some of them are just.
It can
like,
get tiresome for sure.
I get requests to like that's just physically or financially impossible. Thanks for your thanks.
Great
for your
idea,
input.
but like,
It's a great idea, but I don't have $10,600 extra laying around to make video feeds of every player and build in a video feed and get the thing up within 30 minutes of completion. It's just
I just thought it was
we
a
don't
funny,
have-
it was a funny little encapsulation of like when people. It's like people would shuffle in and like slowly they'd learn about it and they'd be like, oh, well, let's just, oh, that's not a big deal. Let's just play on it. And you're like, no. That's,
I know it was. I thought for sure that it was going to affect the play of the game.
Me too, but
I
it
thought it was
did
going to
not.
slow the game down. Actually, it was 8-7. It was the opposite.
It was a decent sized gouge. It was probably
I have
You had a
another-
better angle. I couldn't see it from where I was. So
Of course, it was the terrible timing. It started right before he did his first down the middle
oh no,
line. So it was
Whoa.
literally in both creases, right through the middle of the face-off, center face-off dot.
Yikes.
So
bad.
Do we have time for one more rose?
We do.
Sydney, is it
Oh,
Terry
my.
or Wolf?
Let's go, Wolf.
Okay, Sydney Wolf has just sent me a full list of the players in the girls' high school state tournament who are committed to Division I and Division III programs.
She's a pro.
Oh my gosh, there's
She
so
is a
much
pro.
going on right
We
now.
got it going on.
This is
We have
fantastic.
Got it going on.
I opened her for the college show, the notes, and I was like, scroll.
Yeah.
Like,
this
oh
is
my
this is
God,
great
this
work.
is-
We're excited to throw that out there, and Sydney has seamlessly woven herself into the fabric here. So we're excited to have Sydney aboard.
It's very cool. I would agree. Definitely get a rose to her. It's very cool to see how like she's the opposite of say my, how I came into YHH where like I had the hockey background and now I'm morphing more into like the media side coverage
Yeah.
side, where she started with the media and coverage side and it has akin and all this liking of hockey. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, she's
So-
fantastic. I mean, she just knocks it out, and she's like, she did her first. She's the first one to do 15 questions, 60 besides Peter and I, and now Kayla's like feeling challenged. Now Kayla's gonna do it.
Kayla's gonna do it.
I
now.
love it. Like that's what it's all about. Like pretty soon, like I started this right, and I interviewed Noah Cates and all those guys and Casey Middlestat. I'd set the camera up on myself and go out to these places and do it all by myself. And now Peter's got his own cottage industry with the girls' kids, and he's got that down. And the more people that can share this platform, the better this platform's going to be. Which
Very cool,
is a
yeah.
gigantic rose to everybody. And I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
state
The
tournament
whole
goes.
thing is just phenomenal. I'm just so excited about where we're going and how everything's turning out. Speaking of excited, I'm
about
excited to
publish something
thank
else.
all
Sorry,
of
I'm
our
typing.
all of our sponsors for today's show. You think I could get them all this time? We have Breakaway Academy,
No.
General Sports, APX Hockey, and last but not least, Red Balloon Urgent Care Pediatrics. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for a great show. We'll see everybody around the rink.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.